I can say without a doubt the Access to Justice course has been one of the most valuable and rewarding experiences during my time at UCL Law. Many of us come here having written personal statements about how we want to do law because we are interested in human rights and using law to make a difference. Yet, somewhere between Property 2 and all the visits to the big shiny corporate offices, we sometimes forget that law is still a hugely important part of individual justice. And I'll admit, part of me was starting to forget it too. But it wasn't until I took the Access to Justice course that I really realized the impact and the significance that law, or the lack thereof, has on individuals and their daily lives. I think we as law students take for granted the understanding of what is or is not a legal issue and how that plays a huge part in people seeking advice in the first place. And then, of course, the problem becomes once realizing you have a legal issue, then actually being able to seek the legal advice you need to help you. However, in reigniting my dedication to wanting to become the kind of lawyer that makes a difference, I cannot stress enough the importance that my work at Just for Kids Law had. I'll be honest, when I first heard I was working at JFK, I was slightly disappointed. I felt that kids and education law were not entirely my thing and a bit out of my scope. I thought comparing it to other organizations, its wider significance was limited. However, now having done the work, I can say with 110% sureness that I could not have had a better experience than at JFK, and that its impact is most certainly not limited. In Access to Justice, we talk about how not having access to legal advice can harm individuals, but it was really through my work that I was really able to see this in practice. Some of the clients I saw at JFK were really facing really serious and complex legal issues, and I could not imagine how they ever would have been able to deal with them without lawyers like Rachel Knowles. From the course, I realized that law school only teaches you a very small part of what it means to actually be a lawyer, because no amount of practical skills-based competitions or problem questions can ever really prepare you from sitting across from a mother whose child is facing exclusion from school, knowing that she expects, or at least really hopes, that you'll be able to help her. I know that I have quite a lot more to learn, but the Access to Justice course gave me a small dose of what it feels like to be a lawyer. For that, I am very much grateful to Rachel, who allowed us to tackle assignments with a certain degree of independence, while always being there to provide much needed guidance. I assume that in the real world, you are always on a very steep learning curve, and that this is only one of the ways my casework was hugely helpful. I could tell that sometimes Rachel felt bad giving us tasks that were perhaps seeming a bit boring or mundane, but I can honestly say that every single thing I did there was a huge learning experience, because I underestimated how even writing letters in a specific tone can be a challenge and a skill to learn. Overall, though, I think the most valuable thing I gained, and perhaps all of us have gained from this experience, was an exposure to the world around us. It might sound silly, but it is so easy for us at UCL to become disconnected from the wider issues facing society. Here in Bloomsbury, we find that we are not often faced with the poverty and disadvantage faced by so many Londoners. I've always been committed to and interested in social justice, but from my own experience, I don't think I would have known the extent to which access to justice is important without this course. In fact, being at JFK, after having had the theoretical learning of access to justice, really highlighted the significance education law advice and the real impact JFK has on changing individual lives, and hopefully eventually society as a whole. From this experience, the phrase "kids are the future" gained a whole new meaning, as I was able to see how protecting the rights of individuals and working to ensure that schools do not unlawfully exclude them or inadequately provide for their needs creates a much greater impact as these young people grow into adults. I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to take this course and to work at JFK, and I can only hope that I gave them even half of what they gave me. I know that whatever I end up doing in the future, my experiences at JFK through the course will be valuable and undoubtedly shape the kind of lawyer I will hopefully become.